What up, everybody? Hey, welcome to another round of the Moving the Military Agent interviews. I'm Matt Grudel, here as always with the hostess with the mostest, the co-founder of Moving the Military, Dina Watson, and I am so humbled, honored, and privileged to show you and talk to the one and only Donnie Fields. Donnie, tell us, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. First of all, I want to thank you and Dina for putting this together, and I'm so happy to be here and get to know you guys a little bit more.
Well, here's what we're going to start off with, Donnie. Tell us a little bit about your experience in the service and what drew you to real estate.
All right, my experience in the service is I woke up one morning and my dad said you have to sign up. So I did that at 17 years old.
You
Ended up
got
signing
drafted
up.
in your own household.
I got drafted. My older brother was talking to the recruiter at the time, and Donnie did some 17-year-old stuff, and Dad wasn't happy. So when I woke up, he was like, "Sign up or get out." So I said, "Can I go back to bed?" He said, "Yeah." So I signed up, went back to bed, and 2 weeks later, I was gone.
Man, you gotta love the selective service family edition. But go ahead, Donnie,
Yeah,
keep going.
yeah.
That's wild.
So I enlisted to be a cook, and I ran, like an 8-minute 2 mile at the MEP station. So they offered me a Ranger contract, and that's what I did. I served with the 3rd Ranger Battalion in Fort Benning, Georgia, Fort Moore, now back to Fort Benning, I believe. But yeah, that was my service.
So at 17, you were like, I like food. You ran too fast, and they said, not today. You're going to do this other thing.
Well, they offered it, and they also gave me like a $20,000 bonus, which I wanted to pass find a Pathfinder at the time. So I called my dad. Couldn't have been more prouder. That was probably the proudest moment, that he ever had when I called him. He was a special forces guy, so he was extremely happy, and I was happy he was happy. Let's just put it that way.
Donnie Fields, the man, the myth, the legend, signed up to scrambled eggs and decided to jump out of planes and scramble his knees.
Scrambly is
I
great.
love it, man. I love it.
Facts.
So, what drew you to real estate?
Yeah, fast forward, you retire, right? Or you get out, and then what happens?
Yeah, I got medically retired. I ended up injuring my hip, on a jump. Had to get it replaced. Regardless, they said, "Hey, we're going to send you some pack unit." So I decided. I was like, "Well, I joined to be an Army Ranger, right?" So they said, "Well, we'll medically retire you." So when I was getting my hip replaced, I was recruited to be a prosthetic. VA Central Office was looking for young veterans to run their prosthetic services. So when I woke up, the chief of prosthetics sitting right in front of me, giving me a job. We're going to hire you. VA Central Office is going to pay you. So I ended up doing that for the next 20 years. Um, and when I retired, after 30 years of federal service, I thought COVID was happening, obviously, right? So that was a scary time. My prosthetist, orthotist, physiatrist were all saying, "Hey, they're not seeing their kids. They're behind glass doors, not seeing parents." I'm like, "I'm in the same room as you guys." So I put it for my retirement at that time. Quickly found out, I was 47. I still wanted to work. So I got into real estate to be an investor. And somewhere along the line, just caring for him that born the battle, that was my whole life, taking care of veterans, being a veteran. I decided to kind of shift my business to help veterans understand disability claims, understand their VA loans. And again, made it my mission once again to help veterans, just doing it in a different space at this point.
So I find it really, so this will be viewed at some point a year from now, and this won't be relevant. But I literally just went through surgery, and I could not imagine waking up from anesthesia and someone sitting there talking to me about employment. All I wanted to
Yeah.
know was what time is it? Because I don't even know what day it is. And that's awful and hilarious at the
Bring
same
me the
time.
ice chips, hit me with some new antibiotics, some new pain drugs, and offer me a job. I'm
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, pretty much. He's like, "I heard about you. Somebody was telling me you're young." I was probably 26 at the time, and he just wanted to meet me. And essentially, after we talked for
We're a
about 20
captive
minutes,
audience. You're
yeah,
a
he
captive
offered me the
audience.
job.
That's
So,
crazy. Okay, so you get into real estate because you're wanting to help be a little more well-rounded, help veterans in other ways. So fast forward, then what's happened? So you've been in real estate at this point. You've done what? Like, give us an overview of what has your real estate journey looked like so far?
well, I initially joined as an investor, so I really wanted to build wealth using VA loans, and I didn't really understand VA loans. And one of the biggest things that happened to me, and this is when it kind of dinged, I need to help veterans. When I moved from Miami, Florida to here, I thought I had to sell my house as a VA loan. So of course, I sold my house. Uh, Here we are, 10 years later, Zillow still thinks I own that house. I sold that house for like 380. That house is worth nearly $800,000 now. And Zillow keeps on telling me, hey, this is the value of your
Can
home.
I opt out of this, please?
Yeah, like please
I don't
quit
want to
rubbing,
see
No,
this
no,
quit
no, no.
throat punching
It's,
me with the $500,000 I just gave up.
that's the pain. That's the pain I got to see every day to remind me, to remind veterans out there that you have to know your benefits. If you don't know your benefits, you're just setting yourself up for a severe loss, like I suffered. I would have loved to rent that house out for 10 years, sell it right now. I'd have a lot more money in the bank. Let me look at. Hang on, hang on. I know you
checking
don't.
your bank account?
Look like my thing's dying, so I'm gonna plug you guys in over here so we don't
Oh,
get
I was
shut.
like, is he checking his bank account?
No,
That's
no, no, no. It's
funny.
empty. Trust me, I don't have to check it.
But I love here's the thing, man. You are truly showing your ability to adapt in the real estate world because, hey, man, we're serving clients no matter where we're at, no matter where we got to plug in. So you've talked a lot about your belief, your desire to really pour into the veteran community, both because it's a passion of yours and also because you felt the pain points of it. And I could ask the question of, in real estate, why did you choose the military niche? But we kind of know that answer. So what makes the military niche, your veteran group, your young soldiers, your spouses, your first time homebuyers, what makes them so special and serving them so special to you?
Other than us being in the same shoes at one time, putting our name on that dotted line to give everything up to your life, a lot of people don't do that, so we have that. But what I just love to give back because it just makes me feel good. There's no other way to put it, so I'm selfishly helping you to help me is really what it comes down to. Because it just makes me feel good about my shit. There's no other way to put it,
Well,
right?
it is, and I'm going to say because you've known me for a while now. It's selfish because you helping that veteran is filling your gas, your give a shit tank, right? And for you to run on full, to be fueled up, you have to give back.
I have to, absolutely. Otherwise, I kind of get in that little old pity me spiral and that's not where I want to live. It's a nice place to visit, but I don't want to live there.
So I think I might know some of this answer just because we know you, I wouldn't say extremely well, but we know you really well at this point, a few years into our relationship here. But if there was one aspect, yeah, there was one aspect of what you wish people in the service would know and understand about the real estate world, the industry, what you do to help them, what would it be? What do you wish people knew more often?
You know that this is a benefit that we earned and it builds wealth. And I'm going to tell you a story of two brothers, right? Me and my brother. We both joined the army early in our lives. We were raised in the military, for lack of a better term. But everywhere he went, he made a purchase. Everywhere I went, I stayed in the barracks. He got PCS. He made another purchase, put a renter in there. This cat, I mean, I'm going to call him a millionaire because he is. My brother, he did things so smart, and I'm kind of pissed that he's my big brother. He should have told me. I saw what he was doing, but I wasn't really paying attention. I was so consumed with my own life. But this guy, since 17 years old, he has a portfolio. He has houses all across the country. And he obviously with inflation and all that, he's doing really well in life. Let's just put it that way. And I didn't buy my first house till I was 35. Um, so it is what it is, but don't be like me,
Yeah.
like Danny.
So would you say that, as a
Wait,
professional in the
Danny
profession,
and Donnie?
huh?
Danny and Donnie?
Danny and Donnie. Yeah.
And Donnie
That's
and
interesting.
Dominic
Oh, wow. Your parents were
and
really creative.
Deanna.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
All right,
We got
Matt.
Margie and
Sorry, I
Tom.
interrupted.
No,
And
I
now,
love it, right? But here's the thing, right? So being a professional in the profession of real estate, right? Would you say that part of the reason you're here is to break that perpetual cycle of the young soldier not knowing they can invest, getting out after however many years of service, forcing themselves back into a job versus building wealth and opportunity. So you're there to break that.
Yeah. If somebody would have told me when I joined, I was 17-year-old, hey, you could serve, 20 years in this service, and when you get out, you could be a paper millionaire, right? If somebody would have told me that, I would have listened to him, because who doesn't want to, have that type of security in their life, right? But a lot of people don't hear it. All we do is we go live our lives. We go to the PX and we go to the bar and we have a good time and rightly so. but there's an opportunity out there, and just people have to know about it. That BHA or BAH, whatever they call it these days, separate rats, there's a reason for that. You can use it to benefit you, or you can use it to benefit your landlord, right? So veterans, y'all stop renting. Stop renting. Get out of that mindset.
Well, or you give it back to the government and live in a shitty barracks somewhere
Yeah.
that's riddled with mold, and you're like, hey, government, thank you for giving me this check. I'm gonna hand it right back to you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
gonna go, I'm gonna go sleep in my wall closet.
I appreciate the sleep apnea machine because of the mold in the barracks, right? I should have invested.
Yes, absolutely.
That's terrible. Well, if you were to leave people with one thing, what's your one piece of advice before we close this out?
I
Other
already,
than what you've said. Like that's
oh,
invest, like don't go the easy route here. What's
Yeah.
one if you had one opportunity, one shot, one
all right.
opportunity.
Give me the Jeopardy countdown, because other than stop renting, just know your benefits, understand your benefits. Stop listening to the person at the American Legion or the VFW that doesn't know what he's talking about. Reach out to somebody that understands, that's been in your shoes. Matt, Dina, you guys understand everything. So these guys, somebody like me, um, just stop listening to the wrong people.
Yeah,
Well,
stop listening to the social media gurus and find the actual certified experts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The housing market is tanking. I'm not going to buy. No, they're talking in 2 months.
yeah.
Talk to people that know what they're talking about.
So I want to add something before we close out, though. I know we're running short on time here, but there was something that you shared 6, 8 months ago about how people also don't know. I think it's important for people to know that you understand this side of benefits, but people also don't know that it's possible to get your disability ratings reclassed and increased to help you qualify for properties. Can you share 60 seconds of what that is?
I'll try to make it quick. Yeah, in the state of Illinois, somebody sent a referral out and it came to me, and I told the guy not to buy. I said, "You're not in a position to buy in the area you're looking for right now. So let's take 4 months." And I worked with him only because he was 60%. And his what he was looking for, his price point just wasn't it. They were about to buy something that they didn't need. So I took 4 months and I got him to, well, the goal was getting him 70%, but he ended up getting 90%. And I'm currently working with 100%, trying to get him his 100 right now. But again, it was to get him um, tax-free or homeowner's exemption, because you don't pay that on your PTI, right? So it actually gave him $100,000 more buying power just by helping him get that extra 10%.
And here's what I love about that, right? Because it shows your servant heart. You could have made a transaction. You could have put them
I
in a
could have made
situation.
two.
Yeah, right. You could have done two transactions, and yet you chose to sit for 4 months and to educate and to help and and help increase $100,000 of buying power and a better home that fits them. See,
It,
most people
it would
don't
have
do
broke
that.
my heart if he would have bought the home that he wanted to buy at the time, because him and his family, I knew it didn't serve them. Yeah.
Well, and when you say, I wanted to bring this story up because when you say find someone who understands your benefits, you aren't talking about, you didn't say it, but you're not talking about someone who understands just your VA home loan benefit. You're saying find someone who helps understand the package of benefits you have and how to utilize them in order to qualify
All
for
things
what you're
VA.
looking
Yeah.
for. Yeah, I love
All
that.
things VA, absolutely.
All right, Flava Flav, get us out of here.
Hey, that's it, man. Hey, you heard it. You heard it here first from the one and only Donnie Fields. But before we go, Donnie, if somebody wants to reach out to you, man, throw out your deets, man. Tell us, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, obviously, my phone number 331-229-0950. I'm also on my YouTube Vet Home Collective, and of course, the Jolly Ranger. That's who this guy
Yeah.
is. You'll be seeing more of that. That's going to be my just the hilarious stuff I like to put out there, things that make me happy. So,
Hey, you heard it here in the Moving the Military Authority interview. Can't wait to hear you guys later. Bye.
See you, everybody.